Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan Basha, the business doctor. Following our conversations with empowered women who woke up one day and consciously claimed, I am more than enough, I am worthy, I am empowered to grow. And along their empowering journey towards realizing their own potential and their quest for growth, they became a beacon of hope and guidance for others. May you also find your inner power to grow. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our Unchartered Discussions of Empowered to Grow podcast. This is your host, Hanan Basha, and I'm still with the beautiful, spirited Tanya Eva, who is a spiritual life coach, and this is the part that I want to delve deeper into, a human design guide. Tanya, first of all, thank you for still being here.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking in the first part of our discussion about your journey in discovering it's not about trying to change ourselves, but it's actually about revealing our true essence. And you were speaking that, part of your discovery is also the human design gene keys and how you're using them to support women to kind of reveal it's not really just their spirit. I don't want to say their spirit, but also their alignment and what works for them. But I don't know enough about human design gene keys, so I would love to learn more, and I'm sure a few of our followers would be interested. So can you explain a bit more about that concept, please?
Yes, I love it. I'm so passionate about it. Human design came into my life in a really interesting time. I'd actually already started my coaching business, and again, it was a lot of that just feeling like nothing feels really like I thought it would. Like I wasn't enjoying the process as much. Everything just felt hard, and like it was a lot of effort, but not in like I'm lazy and I just want it to be easy.
Yeah.
It was more just like, this doesn't feel right. Something just wasn't right. It wasn't flowing. I was like, this should feel effortless and I'm ready to put in the work, but it should feel like flowing, and something's just not right. And so human design came to me at a time where I had so much bad karma in my life. Yeah. And I realized that I really couldn't move forward and I couldn't become successful in my business or really keep expanding in my life until I really understood the cause of why I had accumulated so much bad karma and why I found it so hard to just be in the present moment. And that's when I came across human design, and I started really delving into the mystical realms and like karma, and really studying under some really enlightened spiritual teachers. And this idea of like karma came to me, and it was like, really, it's all just about, because often and again, it comes back to the emotional realm too, of like there was a lot of shame and guilt. Yeah. Because of those emotions, and because my self-concept was shame for a very long time, I was making a lot of incorrect decisions in my life. And human design, basically, in the most simplest form, teaches you how to make correct decisions for how you are uniquely designed. And everybody is different. Yeah. So it's a very complex system, and you could study it for years and years and years. But in its simplest form, it helps you make the correct decisions that are for you, they're correct in your life, which also, because if I take it back, like, okay, so when we're born, we are just pure. We have there's no influence on us. There's no, when we're children, we're just
imprints. Yeah. We're not imprinted.
Yeah, exactly. We're just children. We're just being who we are. Like there's no conditioning yet. There's no trauma yet. There's no any of that. And then we go through a process of socialization on top of our family life and our family experiences. And then we've got cultural experiences. And then we've got just the process of socialization. And all of those factors often take us further and further away from our true self. Yep. And unfortunately, we live in a world that still kind of doesn't fully acknowledge the emotional body. And I'm an emotional authority. So there's two things that really at the are at the core of human design, and it's your strategy and your authority. And for me, my authority is emotional, which means I'm supposed to make decisions after I've ridden my emotional wave.
Okay.
Right. So this is just one example. There are many other examples for many different people. And so I grew up in a family and in a culture where emotions were not acceptable. Any kind of emotions, basically, any kind of negative emotions. And I just had to put on a happy face and just be that positive girl. And I basically couldn't express any of those like lower vibrations. I had lots of traumatic experiences around expressing those. And so I just completely disowned all of that within me. And so I was making decisions that were just incorrect in terms of everything that I did in my life. I was making decisions quickly, way too quickly, based off excitement, or I was making them based off pain. In my relationships too, like there was no truth. It was just all like I created just a lot of bad karma in my life. And so human design basically taught me like, no, you are an emotional being and you are supposed to ride that wave, like feel the excitement, feel the low period. And then when you come to a place of like neutrality, that's when you make the decision. And sometimes it can take 24 hours and sometimes it can take 72 hours. And maybe depending on who you are or if you have trauma, it might take longer. But it's like, that's your authority. That's how you make decisions. And that's how you stay in the theme of your true self, which is satisfaction, right? So my true self theme, I know if I'm in alignment with my true self, if I feel satisfied at the end of every day. And so the way to know that I'm not is if I'm frustrated. And that's just me because I'm a manifesting generator, but there are many other types, right? So if you're a generator, it's also, satisfaction is your true self theme, frustration is your non-self theme, but there are other types like reflectors and manifestors and projectors that have different strategies and different authorities. And so in the simplest, most basic form, it really helps you make decisions that are correct, like truly correct for your true self. And in that way, it brings you back to your internal guidance system. And not everyone is emotional. Like my partner is a non-emotional being. He doesn't make any decisions based on emotion. He's very much his mental projector. So actually a lot of his processing goes on up in his head. And so, everybody is so uniquely different. And he also needs a sounding board. So he'll talk to a lot of different people about the decisions that he makes until he comes to his own conclusion. Whereas I don't have to do that. I don't. It's just not how I process. I really need to, emotionally feel into my decision.
And that's fascinating that the concept, and again, it's going back to what we were talking about is like, finding your true spirit and self and identity, because that supports you. So you are not measuring yourself against someone else's measuring stick because society tells you that's how you should be. You're saying what works for you. And this is in alignment with the concept I speak about a lot. And I think I spoke of it on your podcast, which is subjective success. What works for me and what does success mean to me? And there's so many other as well. And I think that's why I love these tests and measures that we do to find out more about ourselves in terms of reflective questions. I can't remember the name of the test now, but there's one that I did that is specifically as well for your entrepreneurial personality and realizing, for example, that I'm a creator, which means that I'm all about generating ideas and stuff. But when it comes to following through and the nitty gritty details of, bringing it out to the world, this depletes my energy. And I realized that was a big chunk of why it took me so long to get something up and running, is because that part is just, I'm done. And I find that, it takes me that long just to fine tune the details to be able to bring it out and then kind of, talk about it and stuff. That's not where I am. And finding people who will be able to support me in those elements makes my entrepreneurial journey a lot more enjoyable and productive.
100%. Yeah. Like it's not everybody's genius to be in the details.
Exactly.
You know, if you're a visionary big thinker, then you know, you need to do everything to be in that genius zone. It'd be interesting to see in your human design chart, because there are certain channels and certain gates that people have that really shows, okay, you're a details whiz. Like, you're supposed to be in the details. Like, you're supposed to be in the nitty gritty, like habits and routines and all of that. But then, yeah, I'm also like that. I'm a visionary. I'm not a details person. I'm very much an energy healer, a visionary. I see the bigger picture in things. Like, I'm here to be an expander in people's lives. And so I'm really wild at heart. And I could be doing this thing and then pivot to this thing. And I'd just be like, okay, we're like, because the passion's there, the energy's there, I've got to go. You know, but when we're talking about business, I think it's important to know, you know, there's human design and discovering your true self outside of the context of, let's say, business. Because I think business is an interesting one, because it's such a unique skill in itself. And even as a solopreneur, there's so many things that you do have to do on your own before you can hire a team.
Of course.
And so I never want to use human design in a way that limits people. And let's just say, you know, I've done the personality quizzes and all that are so amazing, and they really help you, you know, find like the Myers-Briggs test, and like there's so many tests and personality evaluations that are really, really helpful. The thing about human design and why I love it so much is because it intertwines the personality side of your business, but it also gives you the roadmap to your your true soul, like your unconscious side, because our personality is just what we show the world. There is so many unconscious drivers and motivators and things that, you know, when we learn to use those and kind of amplify those in a way and ground ourselves in those unconscious aspects of ourselves, it's really actually the things that we fear too. It's the things that we fear showing, because sometimes they're not approved of, or we're just not aware of them. But then when we bring them into our conscious awareness, it can make you really magnetic. So and it's interesting you say you're a creator, because in Gene Keys, the line 1, there's all the gates and channels, but without going into too much detail, line 1 is the creator, and I'm also a creator. So and it's really like, we're here to create something that's never been created before, and you won't feel satisfied in your life until you do that. So it's all written.
That's why we're here, and that's why we cross paths. I think the universe was
all written in the stars.
The universe was sending us in each other's paths, because, like, you know, it's the inspiration. I believe in the concept of the tribe and the inspiration and aspiration. And from that perspective, I love crossing paths with other empowered women, because, you know, your light bulb is always kind of fed from that perspective. And I remember our conversation as well. There was a lot of in-depth in it. It was like, okay, hang on a second. And we were talking, you know, we delved into, it started about business, but then we went into relationships and how do you get alignment and parenting and all of this. And this is a beautiful space to be in. And I think this is where alignment comes in, when you start really realizing your true essence and what you bring to the world. And I think being unapologetically you, that is a beautiful space. But as you said, and as discussed in the first part, it is not an overnight feat, and it's not an easy journey. And you have to give yourself the space and the grace to grow into you, rather than change you to mold into something that society expects of you.
And, you know, I think as female entrepreneurs, it's really important to talk about all of the things, like not just business, because like I said before, like the point of this universe and the point of the meaning of life is integration. It's actually always just leading us back to ourselves. Even no matter how much you grow, no matter how much you see, I see it every day. I see so many entrepreneurs say, oh, like I'm quitting my, whatever super successful business because I'm just not feeling the same passion or joy about it anymore, which is fine. Pivot. There's going to be so many changes and pivots that you make in your life. But ultimately it's always just leading us back to ourselves. And the further that we try and chase success and chase things out there that prove how worthy we are or how good enough we are or how whatever we are to the world, the further actually we're being taken away from the truth of who we are and the purpose of the universe, which is integration. And so even as women and as we're starting our businesses, especially in the online realm and social media, it's giving us, it's all designed to give us this opportunity to integrate our lives, right? So now, you can have people working from home, you can spend more time with your family. It's like when you have that embodiment of your whole life kind of like your business is around your life versus your life is around your work and your business. It's like that integration piece. Now you can start to really find fulfillment and true satisfaction in your life. Like it's all just one. It's no longer like I'm going to work and then I can't wait to forget about it and go sit up on the couch and watch Netflix, which is fine if you want to do that. And at the start of your entrepreneurial journey, it's going to be really hard to turn off. You're just going to be like working all the time because you're going to not be used to just switching off. Yeah. But when you can find that harmony of like, and it's not even balance, it's just a harmony. Like you just find that.
That's true. I don't think it's balance.
You find that flow of integration with your life and your work. That's really when you start to find that fulfillment that we seek, and the contribution.
I love that, Tanya. I know that we can be speaking about this for a few more hours, but I'm also going to be respectful of your time and that of our audience. If we are to wrap up with what's one statement and kind of inspirational statement of being empowered to grow from that perspective, from the human design Gene Keys perspective, what would you tell our listeners and viewers?
The more that you can find the inner peace and the inner harmony and move away from trying to move away from your pain or move towards pleasure your whole life, because so much of our lives is lived either trying to move away from pain or towards pleasure, and just come back to the present moment and be here now and be satisfied in just the right now. That is true success. And that will be your compass of where you choose to go next. And it will give you the right pathway. It will feel joyful to keep moving towards the thing that you're seeking or moving towards. So if you can find freedom from both of those places, like that's true success.
I love that. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you again
for having me.
My pleasure, always. And thank you for sharing all your wisdom and all your knowledge. And I'm sure that all your work is highly appreciated for women to find their true north as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I wish that you find your true north in the way that suits you, at the timing that suits you, and in a way that also gives you a lot of purpose and passion and profits as well. So that's your alignment. As always, wishing you a lot of love, abundance, and prosperity. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. For further engagement with a tribe of empowered women, join my Facebook group, Empowered to Grow, or visit my website, www.hananalbasha.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.